It's time for Peptide Talk, featuring Garrett Pope. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
What's up, guys? Another week of Peptide Talk. I'm Joe Zapata here with the man himself, Peptide King, Garrett Pope. What's up, Garrett?
What's up?
What's up, man? We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about some Dbol. We're going to talk about Wolverine Stack. So why don't we get into it? So people have been asking me a lot about, let's start off with Dbol. It's one of the drugs, the first drugs that I ever started when I was a child, because it was the pill. So that was one of the first things.
You said when you were a child. How old were you when you did it?
I must have been like, I mean, I'm old now, so maybe about 22.
Oh, okay. No, you said as a child, and I was like, wait a minute, how old were you? Okay.
Well, I'm an old man now, so I that's what I say, child, kid, whatever.
Okay.
But I was 22, I think, when I started it. 22, because I was out of high school, definitely out of high school. But it was like 22, maybe. I think I Dbol. And it was the first thing because it was a pill form, so no one wants to eject when their first time. So, Garrett, why don't you tell me about Dbol? It's actually one of the oldest steroids around. I think it was in the 1950s it started, Dbol.
Yep.
You know, so tell me about Dbol.
I mean, you go back to Dbol. Just a quick question. You said when the first time you used Dbol, did you use it just by itself, or did you use anything else?
Just by itself.
Okay. That's why that was my question. First question I was going to ask. All right, Dbol. I mean, there's Russian Dbol. You're going back in the day. There's Russian Dbol. There was Dominican Dbol. There was so many different countries that put out a Dbol. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Russian Dbol was always considered the most potent. Back in the day, the Eastern Bloc. They put out the strongest. Possible. But okay, so back in the day, Dbol, Arnold used Dbol. It was very, very popular. It was very easy to get back in the day. You look at a lot of it's oral. So like you said, a lot of people are quick to jump on it because, oh, wow, I don't have to take an injection. I can just take an oral pill. This is great. It's easier. The problem with this is Dbol is very, very toxic on the liver. Okay. And I try to tell people that very toxic on the liver. Here's the thing with Dbol. Dbol is short for Dianabol. Okay. But its cousin, I'll call it, is called Turinabol. Okay.
I've never heard of it though.
You've heard of it. Okay. Turinabol, I believe is the name. So the cousin is Turinabol. Here's the difference. Turinabol is 100% more effective and better for you than Dbol. Here's why. Dbol, it's going to give you a ton of water retention. That's number one. Okay, ton of water retention. Turinabol, there's no water retention whatsoever with that. So the problem is when you get on Dbol and you get that, what I call that fill your shirt out look, okay? But your shirts will be tighter on you and you'll feel jacked, but how much of that is just water retention, okay? How much of that is just puffiness, and the moment you get off Dbol, you just shrink back down. The other problem with Dbol, what I try to tell people is you really have to watch your sodium intake on that, because you will retain the sodium and you'll bloat like really bad, okay? Same thing with Anadrol, okay? So will Dbol make you strong? Of course it will, but the negative side effects, liver toxicity, which is very, very high, okay? And the water retention, I'm not a fan of it. I'm much T-ball. I try to steer everybody to Turinabol from Dbol. I'll hear a lot of people saying, get me Dbol, give me Dbol. And, I should take it back. For scientific studies. And I'll say, no, for this scientific study, you should be interested in Turinabol, not Dbol. And the reason why is because, like I said, it's much, much less water retention, next to no water retention, gives you the same strength levels, okay, as far as strength increases. Is Turinabol also toxic to the liver? Not as much as Dbol, but yes, it is. Yes, it is. So when I say not as much, maybe, let's just say this. Let's say Dbol is 77% toxic to your liver. Turinabol could be 67%. That's still high. You know what I'm trying to say here? By no means am I trying to say like, oh man, the drop off's down to like nothing. You know what I mean? No. So what I try to tell everybody is if you're going to use those Turinabol, Dbol, it's 4 to 6 weeks on those max, and then you got to get off of it. I also recommend to people when you're using those or any oral, you should be taking a liver support, milk thistles. You got to be taking a liver support.
NAC.
While you're
NAC. I take NAC. NAC.
There you go. There you
NAC
go. It's very important. I try to tell everybody you got to take a liver support when you're doing those things. And the other thing is people like, you know, as you know, they start to see results and they want to stay on things. So all of a sudden, if I will say to somebody, hey, listen, you're going to get on a T-ball and you're going to stay on there. I want you to stay on 4 weeks. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay on the first, let's say, I'm just going to throw out there. Let's say they're going to do testosterone, DECA, and T-ball. Okay. What I tell them is what I want you to do is for the first 4 weeks, you're going to use T-ball. Okay. By that time, the DECA is going to be in your body. It's going to take hold. Everything's going to be, the injectables are going to be taking effect by that point. What a lot of people do is after their first 4 weeks, oh man, do me a favor. I need more T-ball. I want to get more T-ball. I really do. I want to stay on 8 weeks. No, it's toxic to your liver. You don't understand. It's not good for you. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't listen and they want to do their own thing. But the thing is they start to see, man, I'm feeling, I call it puffy. You know what I mean? If it's Dbol, if it's T-ball, they're seeing the strength increases. They're seeing the fullness, okay? Because you're getting a fullness to your muscle. Yeah. And what I tell everybody, that's a short-term thing. That's a 4-week thing, and then you get off of it. You can push it to 6 weeks. That's it.
I noticed the first time I took it, and I was, like I said, really young. It was, I guess I must have got rapid size and strength really, like gains really quick.
Yep.
Now, the first few weeks, I gained a lot of weight, maybe about 20 pounds or so, maybe 15 pounds. But a lot of it was water. Yep. Like you said, water weight, and I was puffy and stuff. My strength to go through the roof, but you know, you see that size, and so that gets in your head. Exactly. And you want to stand it longer. You know, that's what happens.
Exactly, because you don't want to just have that for 4 weeks. You sit there and you say, "Oh man, I want this for 2 months, 8 weeks." And listen, there's people out there that push the protocol, and then how long have you stayed on for? Oh, I've been on for 12 weeks, bro. The damage you're doing to your liver, you know what I mean? You can't do that, you know? And that's why I say it's a short-term thing. It's not something, you know, you stay on long. And like you said, yeah, okay, you put on 20 pounds fast. As we both know, you can't put on 20 pounds of muscle.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So obviously that's a lot of water. It's the same thing with like Anadrol. That's why I tell people Turinabol, T-ball does not do that. It does not make you retain water. So Turinabol, much more favorable than Dbol. Okay. But I tell everybody, listen, if you have any type of liver issues whatsoever, anything, don't even go near an oral. Yeah. That's just, you know,
blood pressure goes up too. I'm sure blood pressure, acne.
Acne is, some people get that, some don't, you know, that's all that all depends. I mean, I know guys that use testosterone and they look like, I mean, good Lord, you know, you see their face and their back and their, you know, so that's all subjective. I believe that magnifies what your natural skin really is. You know what I mean? Does it increase oil secretion and all that? Yeah, it does. But you know, like I said, like this is what I say to people, you know, I've never broken out from anything in my life. Okay. Never in my life. I see other people, they could sniff something and they'll break out. I mean, they could just, the product's not even in them yet. They can just see it. And the next thing you know, they break. So it's all, that's, you know, but as far as blood pressure, yeah, you got to watch blood pressure, but you got to watch blood pressure with everything. Okay. Yeah, with everything across the board.
Greg R. from Elmwood Park, New Jersey said, how serious of a risk is gyno with Dianabol?
You got to, okay, Dianabol, Dbol does aromatize. Okay. So as you know, anything that aromatizes has the risk of you're running gyno with. Turinabol does not aromatize.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yes. So there, I tell people, there's another big selling point right there. If you're somebody who your estrogen levels fluctuate, and if you're prone to gyno, man, go with T-ball and Dbol. Then you don't have to worry about the aromatization, and you don't have to worry about that issue. Okay.
Okay.
But with Dbol, yeah, you got to worry about it. Absolutely, you got to worry about it.
Okay. Bill T from New Jersey said, does Dbol or Dianabol affect cholesterol levels of liver?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, both of them do. And I tell everybody, keep your cholesterol in check. Know where your cholesterol is at all times. Okay. At all times. I give blood, every, it's supposed to be every 8 weeks. I usually give it around every 12 weeks, every 14 weeks, somewhere around there. So I give it maybe 3-4 times a year, and it's supposed to be more than that, but I just don't like to, go that often. And, every time you go, you get, one of the things is when you give blood, you get cholesterol. You can go right online and, that's one of the things that you get the feedback on, cholesterol. And, me personally, I'll give you an idea of something. So when I was 18 years old, I had a cholesterol level of 127. Okay. I currently have a cholesterol level of 117.
Wow.
So my cholesterol has always been low, good, really good. You know what I mean? I've never even, the highest I've ever crossed in my entire life, ever in my life, was I think 148, ever.
Wow.
So for me, I don't have to worry about things like that because I keep the cholesterol very low at all times. I'm lucky. Okay. If you're somebody with borderline high cholesterol or anything, or borderline high blood pressure, even, you got to think about these things and you have to say, okay, is this a product I should be using? And, like I said, everybody's different, the same way, I can't stand there and say to somebody, this particular movement in the gym is perfect for everyone. Okay. It's the same thing with this. You've got to go with the products that your body, what's safe for your body, So if you're somebody if you're dancing around that cholesterol, level of 200, if you're dancing around high blood pressure right on the cusp of it, don't even take orals. That's why risk it? You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
Yep. Another question here from Robert T. Parsippany, New Jersey. What is normally common for proper post-psychotherapy when coming off Dbol?
Well, okay, the question there is this. Did Robert mean just doing straight Dbol by itself? Or did Robert mean Dbol and testosterone? Or did Robert mean he uses testosterone year-round as a replacement and adds in Dbol? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to go off of either just straight Dbol or Dbol and testosterone. I'm going to say that he doesn't use all year round. I could be wrong. I'm just taking a guess.
Okay.
So if you go off proper post-psychotherapy for that, you're going to want to go with clomiphene, which is Clomid. Okay. I tell people run HCG. Okay. You can run HCG if you're on a testosterone cycle, you can run HCG all during the testosterone. I actually believe in that. Clomid, and if you have any sensitivity at all with what the previous person said about the gyno, you're going to want to use a little Novadex or something like that,
Yeah. All right. Someone else asked me a question to bring it up, but he didn't send it to me. He asked me at the gym. He actually had cancer. He beat it. He's young too. He's probably maybe a little bit younger than me. Had cancer, had testes cancer for his balls, and he wants to jump back on stuff. I told him probably not the greatest idea, but he did ask me, is there anything else maybe he can go looking into? I said, I'm not sure. What do you think? Someone who had cancer.
All right. The first question is this. I don't know if you know that. How well do you know him?
I know him, pretty decent.
Okay. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, with the testicular cancer, did he have to have his one or whatever removed? Did he have to have?
Yes.
Both of them or one?
One.
So I'm going to guarantee you he's probably already on TRT, right?
No, he's not.
Really?
No, he's not.
Okay. That because the first thing that usually a lot of times what they'll do is a doctor will then put you on TRT because your testosterone levels will drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would consult his doctor and ask him if he can get on TRT.
Okay.
That might greatly help, but I would not just get on it himself because obviously that's, so I would ask him to ask his doctor. Go to your doctor.
Yeah, tell him to ask his doctor. Okay. Because he was asking me, but I don't think he wants to pay all that money. I guess he was just looking for something on the side just to get by. I said, well, you just go to a doctor because you had cancer.
With that, yeah, I would be real careful. Peptides, though. Peptides. You can go peptides for sure.
Yeah, peptides. All right. So what?
You know, he should go into use peptides. That because a lot of them are naturally occurring in your body. So peptides 100%. But as far as PEDs, you know, growth hormones, anything like that, man, you got cancer. I'd be real careful. I would consult the doctor on anything with that and see what his physician, his personal doctor says. And you know, usually I say a lot of doctors, you know, they really don't know their ass from their elbow. Okay.
No, they don't.
But in this case, whatever your doctor says, roll with it. This is cancer. This is a little bit different, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't mess around with that, you know?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about peptides. So let's talk about the Wolverine Stack, which is very popular. BPC-157 combined with TB-500. It's called the Wolverine Stack. Everyone loves it. Everyone's on it. It's all over Instagram. You know, because he, like the Wolverine, the character cartoon, he heals very fast. So that's why they kind of said the same name, Wolverine Stack. Tell me about the BPC-157. What does it target? What does it do? Combined with the TB-500.
Okay, so the BPC-157 is body protection compound. That's what it stands for.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of people don't realize this. It's a synthetic version of what is naturally occurring in your body. BPC-157 is naturally derived in gastric juices in your body. Okay. A lot of people don't know that. And that's why I say to people why the government's trying right now, Eli Lilly is trying to market retatrutide. Okay. Because they can, because retatrutide is naturally occurring in your body.
Yes.
Where the government is having an issue is they can't patent BPC-157 and TB-500. And the reason why is they're naturally occurring in your body. You can't patent something naturally occurring in your body.
Like vitamin C and stuff, like the vitamins, right?
Exactly. So the government can't make a lockdown on vitamin C, for example, or something, or vitamin D that you can get from the sun and naturally, because it's naturally occurring. Well, it's the same thing with BPC-157 and TB-500. BPC-157, like I said, is naturally derived in the gastric juices. TB-500 also naturally derived throughout the entire body in thiomycin beta 4 protein. Okay, that's in your body, throughout your body, also naturally. So what you're doing is you're putting synthetic versions of this in your body, increasing those. Now, BPC-157 has been proven, okay, now rapidly to accelerate tendon and ligament healing. So, you know, I'm going to give you a little example of this. These peptides they've blown up over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 years, you know?
Yeah, they're all over Instagram, everywhere you see them.
Yeah, you know, I mean, as of lately, it's ridiculous. But I would say over the last 4 years, they've really been, you know, upping. And what I tell people is, with liquid range rejuvenation, you can go back to 2013, and I was putting people on BPC-157 and TB-500.
Wow.
13 years ago. Before, you know, people would look at me, what is that? And I would try to explain to them what it was. No, I've never heard this before. And I had one guy who had a partially, not fully, partially torn Achilles tendon. And he was told, well, you know, of course, you know, the doctor, we want you to go for surgery on this. We want you to go for surgery on this. And he really didn't want to undergo surgery for the partial. And he asked, listen, if I rehab it well, if I do this, will it strengthen? And they went through all the things. And they said to him, listen, understand something. If you do tear it completely, though, if it's partially torn and, you know, the complication, everything. So I put him on it. Okay. And what he was told originally a recovery period of around 16 to 20 weeks. He was back, believe it or not, running marathons in 9 weeks.
Wow.
And he ran a course of, now he ran that BPC-157 and TB-500 for a total of, this was 13 years ago. It was either 12 or 15 weeks. I can't remember.
Wow.
I can't remember if I had to do it for 12 or 15. I know it was at least 12. It was 12 or 15. But by week 9, he was already running marathons again. He was a marathon runner. That's what he did. And he was already back into that. So I knew then, wow, it had a remarkable, healing abilities. Now, I was the guinea pig myself before liquid rejuvenation, before all that. So in 2007, November of 2007, the week before Thanksgiving, I tore the distal bicep tendon. Okay, so the distal bicep tendon at the insert in the elbow, not up here. Okay, it was at the insert, on the front at the elbow, and it tore. And I had to have surgery to reattach it, because if you tear a bicep tendon, the only way to have full function again is to have reattachment surgery. So I had the reattachment surgery, and I was told by the doctor, "Oh, you're out 6 months. 6 months, can't train, can't do nothing." Okay, that's a depressing thing. Came home from the surgery. I had the surgery on it happened on a Monday. I had the surgery on the following Monday. So I had the surgery on a Monday, came home from the surgery, and literally 2 hours after the surgery, I started squeezing a racquetball in my right hand. Okay. Probably about 500 times a day, just to keep blood flow in there, just to keep everything flowing in there, not to let atrophy set in. Okay. And I understand, no, it's not weightless, but still pumping a racquetball in there keeps the blood going through the arm. Okay. That was that Monday. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I was in a lot of pain, this and that, refused to take any type of pain medication. It was painful. So that week I didn't train at all. I was back in the gym the following Monday. Okay. Training. And what I did was, now I'm going to tell you what the protocol I used in a minute. But what I did was, to recover, okay, I had to keep my mind sane. So I had to train. Otherwise, I'd be going nuts. So the way I did it was, I did lower body actually 3 times a week. And the way I did it was, one workout was all quads, one workout was hamstrings, calves, and then one workout was the entire leg. Quads, hamstrings, calves, glutes, everything. Okay. So that gave me 3 workouts a week to keep me sane. The other 2 workouts a week. Now, mind you, I was slinged up. Okay. So I had no use of the right arm. It was completely, sling. Had to be in the sling for the first, I think, 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever the hell it was. And I trained the left side of my body. And where I actually learned that from was Dorian Yates.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know this.
Okay.
Dorian Yates, I went down such a deep dive researching it. When Dorian Yates, before the Olympia, tore his bicep, I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Okay?
Because I think NASA could have beat him.
Yeah. I still say, though, when he turned around, his back put Nasser.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
When he turned around, it was when he could hide the bicep tear.
Correct.
Now when he turned the other way, you saw it. I mean, it was visible. But what he did was then he trained through the whole rehab. He was in a sling. He would go into Temple Gym every single day, and he would train the left side of his upper body. And he was the first one to say there is reported scientific evidence that if you train one side of your body, it does the hypertrophy, and also the blood flow carries over to the right side, the other side. Okay.
Okay.
So there I am, slung up on this left side, and I would basically be on a bench doing one arm dumbbell presses. Okay. I would get in a hammer strength chest machine, press just the one arm. So I'm giving you ideas of things I would do for chest, for example. For back, for example, I would get on a hammer strength row machine and row just using the left side. Okay, row in the one side. Single arm pull down, single arm rows. Again, just using the left side. Could easily do anything, one arm bicep curls, one arm tricep extensions, one arm rear delts, one arm side laterals. I was able to train every single muscle, but on the left side. Now, people in the gym that knew me, in fact, at the time, this was 2007, I was working at a gym down here that was bought out by LA Fitness. At the time, it was called Lifestyle Family Fitness, okay, and they're out of business now. And I was working for them and other trainers there. I remember one very, very smug trainer. He's actually a very famous trainer now. He goes by the initials of HC, if you know what I'm talking about.
HC.
Hypertrophy coach.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
All right. So this particular person, I'll never forget in his smugness, who is a known know-it-all, I don't understand. All you're going to do is make your symmetry completely lopsided. Why are you training just one side of your body? You should just let everything rest. Actually, no. Do your research. Do your research. And that's why I told you, go into it. You're better off just do your lower, let your upper just rest. No, actually, that's the worst thing you could do. Resting your body completely is the worst thing you can actually do. Okay.
Yeah. And if you think about it, when you do legs and squats, that builds your entire body.
Exactly.
Exactly. You think about it.
You're exactly right. And that's what I would do. I was doing full leg workouts. Okay. That wasn't nothing, because obviously that didn't affect anything on my lower body at all.
Of course.
The only thing that it affected was me being able to put weights on, taking them off. So I would always train with a partner on lower body days. And, I was lucky at the time. The guy I trained with was awesome. He had no problem putting the weights on, putting the weights off for me, because I basically had one hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that was fantastic. But no, when you train legs, you're doing everything, you're growing your whole body, you're releasing growth hormone, you're increasing testosterone. And then I train my left side of the body. I train my left side of the body literally twice a week. Okay. Legs was done 3 times a week. After the first 4 weeks, I flip-flopped things. And then I went to doing legs twice a week, doing upper body left side 3 times a week. So it was a way to progress, because I'm not going to progress. I'm not going to do progressive overload during this period, because I'm not trying to get just one side of my body super, super strong. I'm trying to keep the blood going. Okay. Keep everything, hypertrophy set in. So then I switched it, and okay, well, how do I make this more difficult? I had another upper body day in there. Okay. So now I'm doing upper body, 3 times a week this way. Now during this time, actually, the day after surgery, I had the surgery on a Monday. I started on a Tuesday. On the Tuesday, I started BPC-157 and TB-500. This was 2007.
Wow.
So that's why that's where I was going with this whole story. Anybody out there, everybody's on this bandwagon now. Everybody's on, BPC. Man, I was using this stuff for the first time in 2007, 19 years ago. Okay. Wow. And I used it, and I researched it up and down, and that's why I used it to recover, okay, to heal. Now, I also got on very low levels of HGH during this time. When I say very low levels, I was basically using 1 IU a day, okay, that's female levels, okay, of HGH, but I wasn't trying to grow. I was trying to heal, okay. So what I did during this period was I put my diet into complete lockdown, like if I was getting ready for a bodybuilding show. Okay. I mean, I just locked everything down, ate super, super strict. But the last thing I wanted during this period was to put fat on. Okay. Because even though I think I'm training as hard as I normally do, no, I'm not. And I know that when it comes to upper body. When it lower, yes, I'm still training the way I always do. But when it came to upper, no, I know I'm not training the same, because you're only training one side, and you got to adjust strength levels and this and that. So no, so I only was using 1 IU daily, but I was using the BPC and the TB-500. The BPC and the TB-500 I ran for 12 weeks. 12 weeks. Now I was originally told 6-month recovery period. Okay, 6-month recovery period. I won't be able to do upper body and everything for 6 months. Make a long story short, 11 weeks after the surgery, 11 weeks to the day, the orthopedic, I went in for a checkup. Orthopedic looks at me, checks me out, this and that, tells me to, supinate the hand, both ways, flex the bicep, goes out of the room, comes back in the room, looks me dead in the eyes. Now, this guy used to be the orthopedic for the Tampa Bay Bucks down here. Okay, looks me dead in the eyes, smirks, puts his hand up, goes, I don't want to know what you used, but whatever you did, congratulations. I could hang from your arm. You have complete clearance to do anything you want.
Wow.
And my jaw dropped, and I said, you mean I'm like I can go train upper? He goes, you do whatever the hell you want. He goes,
Yeah.
you got complete clearance. He goes, you cleared it in half the time, 11 weeks rather than 6 months. He said, you
Wow.
cleared it in half the time. Okay.
Mhm.
I was ecstatic.
Mhm.
After that, and it's the truth, what I had a problem was once I was cleared completely was mentally. I was gun shy about doing certain movements with my right hand, right arm, right?
Mhm.
Certain things I was very, very gun shy about because in the back of my head was what I was told was, listen, if you re-tear this tendon, we have to go and take a part of your Achilles.
Oof.
Take that out and put that into your arm to repair it. So
Wow.
in the back of my head, I always said, what if I? And the orthopedic said, no, you don't understand. When I said that to you, it meant if you re-tear it during healing. Once it's completely healed, and it's anchored in there with sutures and screws, okay?
Mhm.
So that's how they have that. He said, once it's completely healed, he goes, it'll probably end up being stronger than the left one. And he was 100% right. Because after getting into initial training again and getting it built back up, the strength increase was absurd in the right arm as it kept on getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it almost felt like I don't want to say robotic, but it almost felt like, okay, that's too light. Okay, that's too light. Oh, and I had to slow down so my right and my left were using the same weight because the right started. So, but I was using BPC-157, TB-500, ran it for 12 weeks. I was cleared at 11, but at that point I said, no, I'm going to run it another, I plan on running this 12 weeks. I'm going to run it 12 weeks. And like I said, cleared in 11 weeks when it should have been 6 months time. So I'm going to give you another example, and I know this factually. John Cena. Okay. I don't know if you remember. It was 2008, I think, 8 or 9. I can't remember the exact year. Do you remember when he tore his pec?
Yes.
Okay. It was, he was given a hip toss to Mr. Kennedy. Okay. And when he went to give the hip toss to Mr. Kennedy, Kennedy didn't jump at the right time. Okay. So instead of him jumping at the exact point the hip toss was given, Kennedy was a little late on the jump. So Cena's arm pulled. Yes. Pec immediately tore. He knew it immediately. The hip toss went through. Cena immediately reached like this, backed away, torn pec. Okay. They immediately called an audible. They had Orton rush down in the ring, attack Cena outside of the ring, RKO him through the table. So this way, okay, he just put him out of commission for, you know what I mean? All right. Cena was told with the pec tear, you're going to be out 6 to 8 months period before you can return. Okay. He also, now listen, I know he's given a lot of interviews. Okay. A lot of interviews. I've never used nothing. I'm a genetic freak. I've never used anything. Listen, we all, that's bullshit. Okay. That's just bullshit. But whatever. If you want to go with that, you go with that. Okay. Whatever. Now, is he clean? Yeah. I mean, now he is. But I'm saying back then, no. He used, and I know this factually, he used to recover HGH. He used it at 2 IUs a day. That was his baby dose. He used it 2 IUs a day, and he ran BPC and TB-500 for 12 weeks.
Wow.
He came back at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden. If you remember that, it was a big shock. He returned when he was supposed to be out 6 to 8 months. He returned in 3 months.
Wow. Now, I know a New York Jet, and he told me that Aaron Rodgers, when he got his injury,
Same thing.
How he came back, he was doing stuff too. They put him on it, when he came back that quick.
You're 1,000% right. That's a great one you just brought up. He was also using BPC and TB-500.
Correct.
You're exactly right. Man, that's a great one. That I forgot about that you just brought up. Yeah.
My friend who's a Jet, he also told me that to show you how people don't really know about peptides, he was taking peptides because he was injured on the field, and he went to his general practitioner doctor for a checkup. And you know how they tell you to write down like what you take, like they tell you, oh, tell me what you take, aspirin. He put down BPC-157. The doctor thought it was a vitamin. He's like, oh, okay, you take that. Oh, you take vitamin C, you take BPC, another great vitamin. Didn't even know it was a peptide.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Jets doctors told him, okay, take peptides. You got to do this, got to do that, got to do that.
Yep. And
they don't know.
Most doctors, most general practitioners, they know nothing about this.
No.
They look at peptides as, oh, that's black market, that's gray market, that's whatever they want to call it. Mm-hmm. That's dangerous. It's unproven. No, it's not dangerous. It's not unproven, especially certain peptides like NAD, okay, NAD, BPC, TB. These are all naturally occurring things in your body. Yep. If they're naturally occurring in your body and as you age, they decrease and you increase them, how is that? That's anti-aging. That's not putting foreign substances into your body. The same thing with testosterone. You're not putting foreign substances in your body with testosterone. Now, Dbol, like we talked about earlier, yeah, it's a foreign substance.
Yes.
That's a foreign substance. Totally different story. But when we talk about the naturally occurring things, you're increasing them in your body. There's nothing, when I tell people, is there's nothing to be afraid of there. I mean, I wish, and I don't push it that hard. Okay. My father's older. He's in his 80s. I wish he would use NAD 500. It would, for the problems that he has, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever they keep trying to diagnose him with, it would make such a world of difference. Mm-hmm. But one doctor, no, that's not safe. I don't know anything. Well, no, the doctor didn't know anything about it. So it wasn't that, oh, that's not safe. The doctor should have said, listen, I'm old. This is what I know. I don't know anything about peptides. I know nothing. I'd rather somebody say that, you know what I mean? Than try to, oh, no, that's not safe. I wish people would listen to me on this for my father, because it would make a world of difference for him. And the way I look at it is, if you're having all these health issues and you're of that certain age, are you just prolonging the inevitable? Or if you could really change things and maybe if you're supposed to live 2 extra years, but live just a bad existence. But if you can do it a different way, and maybe all of a sudden now you can live 10 extra years, and those 10 years are actually quality. Why wouldn't we do that? Yeah,
it's Big Pharma has their, their money, their drugs. They push their drugs. I think one of the doctors was telling me that, if he gives a drug out to a patient that the Big Pharma says, this is going to help. If something happens to that guy, Big Pharma will take the lawsuit. They don't care. But peptides, it's not big. It's not known. There's not Big Pharma behind it. We'll see what the government, what they do now, but, we'll see.
Yeah, no, but like, I tell people, like, I don't want to we're getting sidetracked with the NAD plus. I know this was supposed to be about BPC, so I'll get back on that. The BPC, like I said, the first time I ever used it was 2007. Cena used it, whatever it was, 2008, I think it was, or 9, whatever that was. This stuff has been around for a while. Everybody's acting like, I see people, friends of mine on Facebook. Oh my God, just discovered the miracle healing of BPC and TB-500. And I just chuckled to myself. And I'm like, you're 20 years late to the party.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're 20 years late to the party. You should have done your homework then. Just like, like I said, Dorian Yates was the one that trained one side of his body. And listen, he was 1000% right. And he didn't do that just on a whim. He did the scientific research behind it and saw why it was effective. And listen, I did the same thing, and I 100%, it helped me. Put it this way. When I tore the bicep tendon, okay? So from that period until 11 weeks later, I heard people go, oh my God, you're going to shrink, you're going to lose size, you're going to this, you're going to that. My body weight changed 2 pounds.
Wow.
2 pounds. So for everybody said I trained my left side of my body. I trained my lower body. My weight changed 2 pounds. But let me tell you something. Your weight could change 2 pounds depending on the morning shit you take. You know what I'm saying? So that really meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? That meant absolutely nothing. The only thing that I remember with that was mentally you feel like, oh, you never have that pump in your upper body. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because your right wasn't used. But everybody would say to me, and I after, being in a sling, then from there I would be in a brace. You know what I mean? I never had a cast on. I would be in a brace. Then I was basically just free and just being careful with it. You know what I mean? I would wear a guard. And, people I remember being, it was that January, okay, which was at the 8-week mark, 9-week mark, right around there. The Patriot playoff games, that's the Patriots undefeated season, okay? And those playoff games, and I remember being different places for those playoff games, and people saying to me, bro, I don't know what you're doing, but you don't look any different. You didn't lose any size. You didn't. And I would tell everybody, I'm training my left side of my body. And I would try to explain it to them, and I would get these looks. All right, man, whatever. And they didn't understand the process behind it. Wait a minute, it works. Trust me. Now the BPC and the TB-500, my God, I can't tell people enough. If you have an injury, if you have stomach issues, because it also it heals gut health. Okay.
Okay.
I've never had any type of issue with gut health in my life, but I tell people, which a lot of people do, they have gut problems. Taking it simply for that will change the game for you. Okay. You have an injury, you have a muscle injury, you have a tendon injury, you have a ligament injury, you have my gut. Like I said, I've got my dog on it. Okay. He slightly tore his CCL, which is an ACL in a dog. Okay. And I've had him on the BPC now for 6 weeks. Okay. It's making a world of a difference. I have him on no painkillers. I have him on no anti-inflammatories. Okay. Because that to me masks things. This heals things. There's a big difference. And that's what I try to explain to people.
It helps with cell repair too, right? Cell repair.
Absolutely.
Cell repair.
Cell repair.
Inflammation control.
And what I try to tell people is, why take a pain? Doctors want to give you painkillers and anti-inflammatories. That's masking your problem. Because the moment you get off of those things, the pain is back. Exactly. How do you think people become addicted to pain pills? Because the moment they get off them, they're in pain again. This repairs. So what I tell people is you run the course of it and it repairs. Okay. I don't want to hear, listen, there's a couple things here. Like I say to people, like sometimes people go, oh man, I don't have the money for that. Oh, that's expensive. You find money for other things.
Yep.
You find money for this, you find money for that. You have money to golf every weekend. That costs money. Oh, you have money for the country club. That costs money. You know what? What's more important to you? You know what I'm trying to say to you? Really, what's more important to you? I mean, you cut corner. Oh, wow, you can heal your body. Oh, no, doctor, give me painkillers and anti-inflammatories. My insurance covers it. All right, you do what you want. You know what I mean? You do what you want. Yeah. You're not picking up on it. And that's what I try to tell people. The BPC and the TB-500, I swear by those things. Like I said, I used it first, 19 years ago. It's now been proven also, one more thing, in pets. Okay. It heals and it helps cardiovascular disease. Now, this is in pets. It has not been proven for humans yet that it does that. It's hinted at that. Okay. But there's no specific scientific study that has proven it. But in pets, studies have been proven. In animals, it improves cardiovascular disease. So I've been telling everybody, listen, if you're a pet, which a lot of pets have, cardiovascular, disease and issues, get them on BPC-157 immediately. Doesn't even have to be the TB-500. Get them on BPC-157 immediately. Get them on it. And then I hear the people, oh my God, yes, this is fantastic. I'm going to do it. And I check in with them 6 weeks later. And have you got them on it yet? No, I've just been so busy. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Because you want to know something? While you're going to tell me you're so busy, you can't go online at night and order it. You can't get it from me. You can't get it because you're so busy. Okay. But I can see you post on Facebook 14 times a day. I can, you know what? Maybe if you didn't post, maybe post 7 times instead of 14 times a day, and that extra time you could have got the BPC. Do you see what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah.
It's, you know, and that's why I say blow it out your ass with the bullshit of I'm too busy. And I hear people say this all the time. I'm too busy for this and for that. And, you know, you're never too busy for things that you want to do.
Yeah. Does it help with fat loss too?
A little bit. A little bit. But it's not a pretend. I wouldn't use it. That's not a product I would use for somebody.
For fat loss. Mostly for better sleep. No,
absolutely does help you sleep a little bit, but again, it's not a supplement I would use for. It's really a healing supplement.
More healing, okay.
Yeah, it's really a healing supplement. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's not something I would use for that. I would definitely. Speaking of, you just reminded me of sleep. Okay, I just want to mention one thing on here. I saw on the comments last week, Holly said that she ordered the Somatamax after she
Holly.
So if Holly listens to the show, I would love Holly to leave a comment. Or she could message me on Instagram, either one, because I know she follows me on Instagram. Either one, I'd love to know how the Somatamax is working out for her so far.
Yeah, Holly's a great supporter, and she's also married to Raleigh Winkler.
Yes.
Bodybuilder. So Holly's a great person.
Yes.
Holly, I know you're going to watch later, so I love you, Holly.
Yeah, no, I would love her to leave, you know, a comment or whatever. Because I saw her, she mentioned it, I said, it's fantastic. Remember, just don't drink with it. And just if she could update how her initial process went those first couple days. And how she's, you know, how she likes it so far. Because when I saw her mention it, I was like, oh man, I gotta. And when you just said sleep just now, I totally forgot about it until you just mentioned. I went, oh my god, yeah, that's right. I wanted to throw that in there. So
you actually, we know we're gonna get a little bit off subject about the Mets. You're a Mets fan. I'm a Yankee fan. Your Mets are doing fantastic. They're on a nice streak right now. You sent me a picture you wanted me to post to put it up. You tell me about this picture. What is this picture going on here?
Well, that's 2 men that have become women. The one on the right with the blonde hair is the former health secretary under Joe Biden.
Okay.
So RFK Jr.'s job, that thing had RFK Jr.'s job. The one on the left, I don't know what the hell that is. But they're both trannies, whatever you want to call them, hermaphrodites, she's, I don't know what you call them, but we'll call them trannies. What's going on with the Mets right now is I have been a Met fan since I've been about 5 years old. Okay, I had the fortunate experience then from the late 90s into early 2000s, obviously. Roger Cedeno, Ray Ordonez, Edgar Alfonso, all those guys. Okay, that I had the
your personal friends with.
Yeah. Yes, you know they
because we used to go to Mets games. Used to take me to the Mets game behind the scenes, and
yes,
with all those guys that we knew.
Bob Valentine and you know, you remember I used to I used to be out at school.
We used to drive them to the stadium, like would go in the car with them to the stadium and go back to the players' parking lot and go in. Yeah, I remember.
Right in the player parking lot, exactly. You know, parking there. I'd be out at scores with those guys all the time. Vaughn, all those guys. You remember the famous? I think you remember this. The famous. Remember Grant Roberts? Remember the whole
yeah. Okay. Yeah, a lot of funny with those Mets players, you know.
Grant Roberts never spoke to me again. But anyway, so never spoke to me again. But anyway, so a lot of those guys, okay, and I helped a lot of those guys, okay, and worked very closely with them. So I've been a fan since I've been 5, and then fortunate, you know, for from 99 to 2003, okay, for very fortunate. I've loved the Mets my whole life. Apparently what's going on now that I'm reading more and more into is, so I know the owner, Steve Cohen, the new owner, Steve Cohen, is a diehard Democratic supporter and a liberal, okay? It's known, that's been known. A lot of people don't know this, but Francisco Lindor's wife is a big-time socialist activist.
Okay.
So she's a socialist. She's like Bernie, what's his guy's name?
Bernie Sanders.
Sanders, that's his name. Yeah, the old dude. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. So she's a big time socialist. Lindor is also he supports his wife, obviously, so he leans that way. Now, last offseason, they never offered Pete Alonso the just think about this, how crazy is this? The Mets career leader in home runs. They didn't even offer him a contract.
That's ridiculous, man. Didn't even make him an offer.
He's the Mets career leader in home runs. This isn't a case of, okay, we offered him a contract, somebody offered him more. Like Darryl Strawberry back in the day. The Mets made Strawberry an offer.
Yeah.
The Dodgers gave him more. Strawberry to this day has come out and said, my biggest regret ever was taking the Dodgers contract. I should have never done it. I should have stayed in New York. Okay. Yep. But at least they made Darryl a contract offer. They never, ever, ever made Alonso an offer. They traded away Brendan Nimmo. They traded away Jeff McNeil. These were all heart pieces of the Mets. Mm-hmm. What's come out now is all three of those players apparently are very big conservative Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
The mandate from the front office was, now there's all these rumors that Lindor didn't get along with Jeff McNeil and Brandon Nimmo very well. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now it's starting to come to light. It was political differences. So the front office basically said, listen, we're going to stand by our Democratic or liberal views. And the hardcore conservative Republican players, we need to get off this team. And that's what they did. Now, in return, that Zohan Mandami guy that, he came there. At the games a lot. He was hugging Mr. and Mrs. Met. Mind you, let me explain something. The Mets have lost 12 games in a row. Okay?
Since that hug. Since that hug.
Now, the team record is 17, okay? Mm-hmm. They're not far off from the record. We could break this thing. Okay, at this point, I'd rather than break it. This way I could at least say, yeah, we broke a record this year. But anyway, since that hug, they're now 0-12. Those two things in that picture, being at the Met game, okay, supporting the Mets. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody that's going to sit there and say that looks like women are cracked out of their minds. Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody can look at that and tell those are dudes in a wig. All right, let me tell you something. I would make a more attractive woman than that. Okay, and that's the honest to God truth. Okay, if I shaved completely and I did myself up with a wig and everything, I will guarantee you I will look like a better woman than that. And I guarantee you
we'll do it next week. We'll do it next week. Next week on the air, we'll do it.
So I'm so disenchanted with the Mets right now because from what's being leaked out is it's political. Now, one step further, the Sid Rosenberg show.
Correct.
All right. This morning, Alan Dershowitz was on it. You know who Alan Dershowitz is? The lawyer that was part of the dream team of OJ.
Yep.
And he went on there this morning and he said, I never thought I would say this, but for the first time in 50 years, I am switching my allegiance from Democratic to Republican. And also for the first time in my life, I am no longer going to be a Mets fan. I am now going to be a Yankees fan. Sid Rosenberg, whoa. And Dershowitz turned around and said, because of the political landscape, and then he went into details also. And he said, unfortunately, what's going on right now, if you're a Republican, you have to be a Yankee fan. You cannot be a Mets fan. The Mets have gone completely woke. And he said, he goes, if you go woke, you go broke. He goes, and the Mets are broke, right? He goes 12 in a row. He goes, there's deeper issues. He said, and so he turned his back. So I'm sitting here literally being a lifelong Mets fan. And let me throw one more thing in there. This is the 40th anniversary of the 1986 World Champion team. Okay. The only World Series win I've ever seen in my life. Okay. They went in 2000, which I was lucky enough to be at I was at every game. Yankee Stadium Mets. I had tickets for every single game, to be right in family seating for every single game. Wow, that was great. 2015, they lost to the Royals. The only World Series win I've ever seen in my life was 1986. This is the 40th anniversary of it. Okay, 40th anniversary. And 40 years, I was really hoping, all right, 40 years to the date, this is the year the Mets do something. This is the year. Because 2 years ago, that was a magical run to the NL, championship. And I really thought it was something. And this team is a laughing stock. They are currently 7-16, the worst
record in baseball.
Worst record in baseball. They were a 7-4 team. And for anybody out there that says, well, Juan Soto's been out. If one player means you can't win a game without him, then your team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to hear, Juan Soto's out. To lose 12 straight, give me a break. Give me a break. Now he's looked upon as the savior because he's coming back tonight, okay? And at this point, season's over. Season's over.
It's just about nailing the coffin.
You'd have to go on such an absurd run at this point. The baseball you would have to play for the rest of this year, not just to get, because think about something. If you go on a tear, that's just going to get your ass back to 500.
Yeah, you got to get to 500. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you would have to do such an amazing job the rest of the way. And this team is not built for that. I mean, I'm not blaming him, but last night, okay, they found a new way to lose. 3-3, ninth inning, Devin Williams comes in, can't record an out, blows the game. So it's a new way to lose every day. And people today are like, Devin Williams is shit. This and that. Mm-hmm. Hold on, the whole team is. It's not just Devin Williams. Carlos Mendoza, from the manager, excuse me, I take that back, from the owner down. Because it starts with Cohen, it goes to David Stearns, who I think has done a shit job building this team. Mm-hmm. Then it goes down to Mendoza, and then it goes down to the players. Mm-hmm. And nobody is performing on this team. And I think they should all be embarrassed of themselves.
Are you coming to the dark side and be a Yankee fan? Are you coming to the dark side and be a Yankee fan?
Never, can never, ever do that. It's funny because people text me like, just cross over, be a Yankee fan. I can never, ever do that. Personally, if that were to be the case with me, I would just give up watching baseball. What people don't understand is I watch all 162 games every single season. Every single season. Mm-hmm. I make sure I am in front of that TV for every single game. Okay.
So who's your second favorite team? Your second favorite team besides the Mets? If you had to cheer for someone besides the Mets, who would be second?
In baseball?
In baseball. If you had to cheer for someone in baseball, it'd probably be a National League team. You don't know if there's no one really.
I honestly don't even have no clue, to be honest, because there's nobody else I really could even say that about. I mean, I've always been built one way. There's one team to the same. Like, how people have I hear people in football, down here, people are like, well, I'm originally from Wisconsin, so I'm a Packer fan, but now I live down here. I'm a Bucks fan, but I'm a Denver Broncos fan also. And I'm and I'm like, what the hell is that shit? Mm-hmm. What is it? You have one team. You can't have multiple teams. I'm sorry. And I there's no way, there's no team, I think, some people say to me, well, what about the Rays? Okay, that's the most local team. What about rooting for the Rays? I can care less about the Rays. Get out of here. When the Rays were good and they went to the World Series that time when I was, down here, screw them. You know what I mean? I can care less about them.
Well, I feel your pain because I'm a Jets fan, so.
There you go. There you go. So so you have a very similar.
I'm a Yankee fan and a Jet fan.
Yeah. So you have you're very, very similar there. Was the Jets and the Mets are very relatable.
Yes, very relatable.
You think about it. You have 1969.
Yep.
I've got 86. Now the Mets won in 69 also, but you got 69. That's it. That's all you have for a franchise.
I've never seen them win.
Yeah.
Never seen them win.
I mean, the most you got was.
Parcells.
Those championship games, the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that was the closest I got.
That's it. Now, I will say this, and I know people say I'm nuts. I actually think the Jets are in a phenomenal position over the next 2 years to build this team. And if it's ever going to be done, and you know what? And again, people were too quick last year to give up on Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to end up being a good coach.
I don't know.
I really do. I think that Jet team is going in the right direction. Are they in a rebuild process? Of course they are. But they have a luxury right now. Because that luxury is the Dolphins, I guarantee you, are going to be worse than them next year. The Dolphins gutted that whole team.
Yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins gutted. I honestly think the Dolphins finish in last. The Jets finish in third place. But I think the Jets are going to be sneaky competitive next year. It's not going to be last year where they were just getting their doors blown off every game. Mm-hmm. They're going to be sneaky competitive next year. And I actually think in a couple of years, with all these draft picks, and if they do things right, they're actually going to be decent. I really do. I hate the Jets, but I think they're going to be. I think the way they're being built right now is the proper way.
We need a quarterback. That's what we need.
You do, and you know what? If I was the Jets, you have so many draft picks this year.
Go after quarterback.
What about Ty Simpson of Alabama?
Yeah, maybe.
Because my thing is, they're holding out hope. Arch Manning next year. Well, there's two things. Number one, I don't think the Jets are going to have the worst record in the NFL, and he's probably going to be the number one pick. Okay.
Yep.
And number two, I actually don't think Arch Manning is Peyton or Eli. I see a lot of holes there. You watch his college games at Texas, and I do. There's a lot of holes there, and I don't think he's going to be as good as his uncle Eli and his uncle Peyton. I really, really don't. And he's more athletic than those guys as far as what he can do running and stuff. But I don't think that's the answer for the Jets. Now, listen, as far as I'm concerned, oh man, the Jets are in my division. I would love the Jets to lose every single game. You know what I mean? But I'm being realistic. I'm saying, honest to God, truth, realistic. I think they're going in the right trajectory.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see. I don't know. We'll see. But your Mets, tonight, let's say they got to get a win tonight with Soto back, right?
You know what? It was a shame. Nolan McLean last night, he pitched a gem. Okay? Pitched a gem. And to blow that game, I mean, that's the second game in a row he pitched great and they blew it. So I have no faith. So Soto comes back tonight. Great. What do I think? The Mets are going to go out and bang out 10 runs? No. So Soto's going to make that lineup that much better? Listen, I have no faith in this team right now. I have never, ever, ever in my life thrown my hands up and said this is over in April. But right now, I think the season's over in April. I'm so disappointed. I'm so let down with this team. And then what's coming out with the political shit, I'm like, this is disgusting. And then they're proudly showing those two freakazoids, at the game, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I should show up with a wig to the Tampa Bay to Tropicana Field later this season. Mets come down here. They're going to be down here the end of August, into September. I should show up dressed up as a tranny then.
My friend was telling me he was at the Mets game not too long ago, and he says even the crowd is not the same crowd. Like it's a weird crowd. It's not like the back in our day, the Yankees, and they'd be chanting and cheering. It's a weird crowd. He says it's not the same.
Yep. I've lived down here since Citi Field has been erected. I've only been to Shea Stadium. I've never been to Citi Field. Okay.
Oh, never been to Citi? Okay.
Never been to Citi Field because I moved down here in 2006. Citi Field was 2008 or 9.
I like Citi Field better than the new Yankee Stadium, believe it or not.
You like it better?
Yeah, I do. I like the new City. The way the layout is I like it better than the new Yankee Stadium.
Okay, so I've never been to Citi Field. Shea, I lived at Shea. You know what I'm saying? But never been to Citi Field. It doesn't have the same to me. To me, it would be a letdown because I know Shea to me was special. It was just special to me.
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want. 1986, the ball goes through Buckner's legs. Those stands were shaking. The stands were literally the upper tiers. They were shaking. Citi Field doesn't have that aura. It doesn't have that feel. Doesn't have that. When I see it on TV, and I'm just, it's I don't know. It's not the same. And I don't deal with change well, so
it's a nice stadium though. It's really nice. Like everywhere you walk, you get a nice view of it's really nice and open, airy. Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium feels like a museum. You walk in there, it's just like monuments and this, and it's really it doesn't like I like the old Yankee Stadium. It was really cool,
I heard a lot of people say that. Yeah, and then you got the Trop down here, which is basically just an indoor bubble. That thing, I mean, it's an indoor. It's just a weird stadium. It's a weird. It looks. I don't know. It's not anything I'm used to. It's a little odd.
All right, guys. Well, another great week, another great show, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you think of Dbol or the Wolverine Stack. Please go to equipfoods.com. Use promo code JerseyJZ. Garrett, if they want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you through how?
Pope Training, Instagram, one word, Pope Training. DM me, do paid consults, training, peptides, gear, you name it. We can discuss it.
All right, guys. All right. See you guys next week. All right, brother. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Bodybuilder coding. Beings on the course.